everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
I've just restrung my old Junior and put on trying a funky new tailpiece, which certainly looks the part and apparently has better intonation. And so far, I'd be digging it.
There's a few people who make really, really seriously correct metal bits for 50s Gibsons, even though it's a 60s one, but the 50s parts. And this one is from Gerhard Schwartz Custom Guitars. We've got a couple of others as well. And as Dan was restringing, I said, you want to try a new bridge on that? He said, not really. But he did anyway.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm digging it. What's the song? Diggity?
Yo diggity.
Yo diggity.
Yeah, happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday, especially to everyone returning from NAMM.
Oh yeah,
That happened.
that was yesterday, wasn't it?
We finished on Saturday, I think.
Oh, did it? No Sunday.
No Sunday. They didn't have a Sunday show last year.
Everyone went home on Sunday anyway.
That's right.
Do you remember that year we skipped off the Sunday and went to the Simpsons studio instead?
We were trendsetters. See?
Yeah. So thanks to everyone for joining us. BV, thank you for moderalising. I've put my phone down, so you've probably sent me a load of text messages and I don't know where I put it, which is always a joy. So I will find it soon.
Monday.
I hope you've had an enjoyable week.
Yes.
I just typed in That Poodle Show, which is the sort of Welsh spelling of it, with no vowels and consonants all in the wrong place. So I'm here to offend all the Welsh people this week. Last week it was doctors. I upset some doctors big time last week and had some emails. And the digital modelling crowd, well, you deserve it. So I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. Yeah. Good. I'm slowly, I promise you, I'm logging in. Oh no. Silly thing. It's a silly thing. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm being slow in mind as well. How are things? Things look all right.
What's going on in your
okay.
What's going on in your world?
Oh, far out, man. In the words of the Dusty from
Where's he going
what's
with
it
this?
called? Oh man, it's an old Eddie Murphy film.
Coming to America.
No.
The Flumps.
No, with
Crumps.
No, with Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. It is the best film ever. Why can't I remember?
Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
No, Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. Anyway, in line, Eddie Murphy's going.
I'm going in.
Keeping it together. That's what I'm trying to do. Keep it together. Yeah, but you'll all tell me what film that is. Bowfinger. There we go. It has finally come to me. Yeah, keeping it together. January's always a weird one. You know, post Christmas, you've got Blue Monday, but we find that we are still catching up from December, and then heading into February. It's all good. It's just, man, we're just so busy. We're making some changes in the studio as well, which are really exciting. And Mick and I have been at that all day. And, man, it's just going to be so cool.
So much that we've just moved the fridge and now I've got no milk. And I really do need my phone and I have no idea where it is.
Would you like me to call it?
I tried to just ping it from my phone and it didn't want to know. Watch.
Yes, Bowfinger, that's right, yeah. Kit, that's right. Is it Kit Dale? Yeah, such a funny film.
Okay. I'll turn the super chats off. Because we've got quite a lot. Thank you to everyone who's super chatted to this point, and I promise VCQ will now get underway with the usual professionalism
that you are used to. Yeah. Kit Ramsey. That's right. Not Kit Dow. Kit Ramsey.
Was he in Neighbours?
Kit Ramsey? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Weren't there
No,
people
Kit
called
Ramsey. There's a film
in-
called Bowfinger.
Oh.
Do you have you've not seen it? Bowfinger.
No. One of the Tai Chi moves is this. You come up, you do this,
Stick it right up his ass.
and you do that. Up his bum.
Up his bum. That was funny.
Good. Okay. Welcome everybody. Happy Monday. We say hello to Dave Sandman.
Yeah.
Swizz871, Andrew R, Johnny T, Peter Romano, Simon V. How are
Hey,
you, buddy?
buddy.
How are you, Simon? And presumably lots of other folk too.
Yes. Kim Boydell, Evan Ward, Whiskers B.
Hello.
Green Mystic Surfer. I like it.
Yeah.
Summer VRDJ, of course. Teddy Bear, Fat Boy 73 Power Stroke. No, that's a strong name. I like it. Braden Rodriguez. Very good. Hello, GNM. It's me, Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Yeah. Oh, there you are, talking. Todd Roy is on. Darth Crypto is on. Kevin Clearman. Because Dragon. Jason Hattrick. I think we're seeing you, Jason, aren't we? Next week or Friday maybe, or maybe sometime later
Yes,
in the year.
this Friday we have Experience Day. First one for 2026.
Chris Quinn, Chris Turner, Pedal Train Nano, Matt Oakes, Gordon Rankin, how are you?
Hey, buddy.
And Richard Pribinal, Grim Viscosity.
I like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely friends.
Kim
And-
Boydley said, Blue Monday is a marketing gimmick. It's equally valid to be as miserable every other Monday, especially if you're British.
I totally agree.
Yeah, well done. Well played.
Yeah. Although I have to say, Monday's a very happy day for me ever since that pedal show existed. I wake up on a Monday and think, oh, I'm going to the studio today. It
Yeah.
doesn't suck, right?
No, it's amazing.
It doesn't suck.
Yes. Certainly, we love being in here. I get excited every time I know I'm coming into the studio because it's such a great place to be. And it's exciting having a bit of a move around and getting some new things happening for 2026. Really, really exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's highly groovy.
Yep.
Lots of snow around the world, apparently. Lots of people are commenting on how much snow they've got. Now, when anyone else has loads of snow, we always say, you lucky so-and-so. And, of course, it does create a problem or two for a number
It's
of
nice for
people.
about 5 minutes.
I like it.
I loved it with kids
Yeah.
because as soon as it snowed, we'd grab the sleds out, toboggans or whatever you want to call them, and there's a hill, like a 5-minute walk with the kids, and there'd just be hundreds of kids lining up to get their sleds down, and it was just the most brilliant fun. And for some reason, Zach was more aerodynamic than other kids, and he would jump on his sled. So all the parents are down the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And the kids are going down, oh, it's lovely. He would get on it and he'd take out parents and he'd go across down the bottom of the hill all the way across the path.
Bullet.
It was amazing. Amazing.
I know a good dyslexic joke about a toboggan, if you're interested.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've told it before.
Go on.
We're allowed to tell dyslexic jokes because Dan is dyslexic. Two skiers at the top of the slope. One says, do you want a cigarette? Have you got a cigarette? And the other one says, what am I, a tobogganist?
Okay, very
It's
good.
not even a good dyslexic
Yeah,
joke,
I like
to be
it.
fair.
I told you about the dyslexic occultist. Sold his soul to Santa.
Santa.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. It's a Christmas joke.
Yeah.
Bit
Good.
early, but I am looking forward.
Okay, let us dive headlong into the super chats then. Thank you to everyone who watched Friday's video with Remy Harris. And please tell your friends, because not very many of you watched it. Dan and I appreciate it was a hard sell, acoustic and jazz, which is not to detract at all from the utter brilliance of Remy's musicianship
Amazing.
and playing. So if you haven't watched it, please do. There's a lot of surprises in there, a lot of info, and let's get those numbers up so YouTube doesn't take us off the air. I'm joking, of course. Dave Sandman is first in this week. No question, and I believe, BV, you have helped. Yes, you have. Thank you so much. Right, Dave Sandman says, any upcoming New Year, new rig videos? I've just decided on a definitive pedalboard layout and it's already been unchanged for 2 weeks.
Oh, well done.
Amazing.
Well done.
Amazing, isn't it? Says Dave. Yeah, we might.
I'm making slight changes to mine. But it's pretty similar. But I think it's always worth, an annual personal rig run through.
It is, and if the changes are small, then we just do it together.
Great.
Yeah, I think my changes might be quite big though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to vastly simplify.
Okay.
But I'd said that last year and ended up
simplifying
a bit.
The thing is though, there's the problem with the simplify thing is fantastic. Let's get that. It's great when you can run a real simple rig. The issue comes in when you're at the gig and you go, oh, that Leslie sound would just work so great now.
I'm actually the opposite. I'm like in this room going, oh, that sound would be great right now. And come the gig, I'm like, I'm not using any of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And that obviously that reflects what music you're playing and what band you're playing with. But I just, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for the question, Dave. And yes, they will be, but it'll probably be, we got some good stuff coming up, actually. We're doing Bill Frisell this weekend.
Bill Frisell this
We got
weekend.
Maddie Cunningham coming in. We got Joey Landreth coming in. We got Steve Rothery coming in.
Oh, my goodness.
It's really cool.
Very cool.
We're kicking off because we didn't do that many guests last year, and 2026 has started apace with some fantastic guests. So,
great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to welcoming all of them. Bill, we're going to have to do on location because he's on a pretty tight schedule, but it'll be a trip to hang out with him for a minute.
Attilo de Gresti says, dear guys, is it possible to have Michael Landau in future? I mean, of course, we'd love to have him. We've been chasing that dragon for a long time. And if it ever happens, you'll be the first to know. Because we would love to have Michael in. Be wonderful.
Yeah, it would be. It's, what do they call it? The thing you have that you have to do before you die?
Bucket list.
It's a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
For Landau, he's definitely among my very favouriteest guitar players of all time ever. So that would be wonderful. Good. So Giorgio, how are you? He says, I can't wait for the show with Bill Frisell. I got a ticket for his show in the UK last year and it was postponed to March or something like that. Yeah, he had a perforated eardrum, I think, or an eardrum infection or some problem.
Lost the DL4.
That's what it was. Yep. Lost his DL4, yeah.
Said no.
Anyway, right. Thank you, Dave. Swizz871. Australia says, leg ends, I finally got the Soundgas 636P pedal and you guys weren't kidding. No. I love it on guitar and bass. It really shines on synths and tomorrow I'm going to try it as a mic pre. Would love for you to feature it again one day. Well, it's funny you should say that because as part of the big move around we're doing here at the Pedal Show, we're going to create another space that we can have a control room in and also film in. Not for loud stuff, but for quiet stuff and chat. And in so doing, I've sorted out every single pedal that exists in the place apart from the ones on the wall. Mm-hmm. And in so doing, found the Soundgas 636P. And I thought, I must send that back to Tony. And I thought, no, let's use it a bit more and then we'll send it back.
Yeah.
So, congrats on getting that. Amazing what turned up. The stuff I found. It's like,
oh really?
We've got one of those.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant.
Andrew R. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Hello, Leggins. Dan, I recently ordered a gig rig Gen X8. Mm-hmm. And it's made a huge difference reducing noise in my smaller board. I didn't even realise you'd come out with an 8. I almost went and bought another brand due to ignorance.
It's so interesting. I mean, we try and get it out there and we spend money on advertising and everything. It's the eternal struggle to have it, to let people know. But thank you so much. And yeah, the Gen X range of power supplies is something that, I've been working on for 20 years.
I didn't know you did an 8 either. Genuinely.
I thought, didn't you shoot the video for it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did for the 14.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll do an 8 now.
Yeah.
It's really cool. There you go. That's the power of advertising, people. Yeah. It was interesting. We sell about 3 times as many 14s as we do 8s. And I thought it'd be the other way around. But I think people who are into our stuff are generally people that have got, but the 8s, it's such a cool thing because you've got, 6 500 amp, 500 milliamp outputs, and then 2 of the big boys, the 1 amps, and it's such a compact thing. So for people running digital boards and stuff like that, but that's the one thing that I'm really getting into now is just noise floor, and I've been into that for a long time. But just making sure that everything is as quiet as possibly, because I think now there's so much more digital stuff out there, and I go to shows where people are running the stuff, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you really? And it's like, no thanks. And a lot of it is supply noise.
Yeah.
So,
well, we see it if someone comes to visit and they've got, a normal pedal board. It's those of you that have been to Experience Days will know all about this room. It is a remarkable room because it's almost, not anymore since we put all the shelves up, but it's pretty dead in here. And so you just can hear everything all the time. And so I'm always amazed when someone puts a board down, like Dan says, and they plug it in, like, I'm like, are you okay with that? And it give him a couple of hours and it's gone. The noise is gone. So
Gordon Rankin, our current Brains Trust, more current equals more noise. And yeah, more current, it's much harder to get the noise floor down to an acceptable level. And it's just the thing is, as the current demands of pedals get more and more, because when we started, if you had a 500 milliamp pedal, man, that was a lot. And now it's really normal.
Oh, yeah.
So...
But equally, I'm always surprised when... what was I using recently? Some other digital pedal, and it was only 135 milliamps.
Yeah.
So the tech is obviously
it's
expanding.
Depending on the chip and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's. But anyway, thank you so much, mate. And I just had a quick look at the comments, and so many of you, and that's it really makes a difference. So thank you all so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, Johnny T. Hello, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
How are you, buddy? He says, have you any experience with the Fender and Squier Esquires? Not much.
No,
not much. It is a different beast than a Squier.
You meant the single?
Yeah.
What I find remarkable is every time I look at an Esquire, I just go, how do you get away with just that? Even though this is my favourite guitar of all time, and still now to this day, I look at an Esquire and go, the single bridge pickup on a tail, no way. And every single time I play it, I go, this is the coolest guitar I've ever played in the world. Yeah. That Esquire that we played at in the early days when we went
at Pete's place.
Yeah. Far out. Just a rock machine.
Yeah. It was...
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Really great. Dan's big neck pickup fan and user, and I'm not. Yeah. So to me, Esquires make perfect sense. Yeah. Well, Strats, I do. Strats, I like them on Strats, but most other guitars, not so much.
But the Telecaster, for me, the neck pickup has to be banging, which is why when we did the Red series of pickups with Monty's, we worked so hard on getting the neck right because it took years dialing that in. And bless him, Matt was with me for the long haul on that one, and we nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It's an amazing set of pickups. But the Telecaster, for me, the neck pickup is essential.
Yeah.
But if it's not, and you are, Billy Gibbons Telecaster rock and roll machine, Esquires, far out. Yeah. Actually, there's an amazing clip of Billy Gibbons playing an old Esquire, and it's like, wow.
Someone asked a question about Billy Gibbons last week in the chat, and it was to do with a tone on the first record, ZZ Top's first album, I think it's called. And I have never listened to ZZ Top's first album.
Oh, wow.
Not from start to finish. I've heard bits off it, but I've never really listened to it. And I sort of come in at Tres Hombres.
Oh, yeah, that's so
my favourite of their records.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. Tres Hombres, because we got the vinyl of that here, right? That's the one that,
But like ZZ Top's first album is like an even more stripped down version of that, and the sounds on it are just killer. And someone was asking what the sound was, and I listened to it, and I'm like, well, that's a burst into a Marshall, or possibly a Fender Tweed,
right?
And I mean, I googled it, and that's probably what it is. But it's like you can so hear that that's what it is, you know, because he got I want to say he got Pearly Gates the year before they made that record.
I was watching some live footage of him yesterday playing in 91. And he's singing, right? Doing his thing. The stuff that is just flying out of his guitar like it's just nothing is just sickening. It's all those perfect phrasey things that, you know, you think of Joey Landreth and like Dylan and all those guys that do that vocal type thing. He's doing all that. He really is a treasure. He
was so good. Is so good. Those early records were so good, is kind of what I mean. Now then, Rock and Roll Riggio has asked this question a number of times, and I think you might have asked it last week. So he says, Dan, did you happen to get your Les Paul Junior at Angel Music in Denmark Street in 2011? I had my eye on one, and I think it was a 61. It sounded killer and was very reasonably priced.
Yeah, no, I've had this guitar for a lot longer than that. It was Dave Gregory who found this for me on eBay, and it's just a private seller. And there's a whole story about acquiring this guitar. It took 3 trips through eBay because I only had $2,000. And it was on for $3,000, and I emailed him and says, I'm maxing everything out. Please, can I have it? And he's like, no. Didn't sell at 3, and then he put it on for 2.5. And I'm like, anyway, didn't sell at 2.5, and I reached out again, and he sold it to me.
Criminal.
And the thing is, when Dave played this guitar, he said, this might be the best electric guitar I've ever played. And Dave has got all the guitars, and it was kind of heartbreaking because he must have been so desperate to sell this thing, you know.
Well, some people don't get it.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, now this thing's worth...
It's sounding very good today. And I didn't want to say earlier because there's probably a bit of motivated cognition with the new bridge, but it sounds... I think it's chimier than it was.
Yeah, right. Well, it hasn't had new strings on it for a long time.
That's it, isn't it? Anyway, Peter Romano says, Peter Romano, hey buddy, how are you doing? He says, I wanted to say thank you again for the beanie and the coffee mug. Thank you for buying it, Peter. While buried under ice in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth.
Nice.
Maybe. It's just a guess.
Dinkum Fair, innit? That's a dyslexic Australian.
That is, definitely. Both have seen lots of use. No, it won't be Dallas, will it? Because it doesn't snow in...
Dallas Fort Worth? Yes, it
doesn't
does.
snow
Texas?
in Dallas, no.
Yeah, man.
No.
Texas has mega snow.
Nah. Does it snow in Texas? You sure?
I will be stunned.
It's desert, isn't it, most of it? Oh, yeah. Receive much more snowfall than areas further east.
There you go.
Because of a lot of high terrain. Oh, it's the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Anyway, let us know. Please confirm somebody if DFW means...
Yes, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas.
It is.
Yeah.
There we are. Thanks, Peter. Wish you well. Simon V. How are you, bud?
Buddy.
He says, D&M, I am so pleased you had Remy Harris pop in for a chat. Any chance of getting Seth Lakeman or Mr. PRS, who said he'll be in the UK this year? And, supplementary question from Simon. Somewhat chewy question. He says, talking of Paul Reed-Smith, where would you rank him among Leo Fender, Ted McCarthy, Orville Gibson and Fred Gretsch? He surely has made an impact.
So he's right up there, because what you got to look, for me, you can argue whether you like the guitars or not, some people love, Les Paul, some, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the impact, Paul has had such a mega impact.
Yeah.
He's absolutely up there.
And if you, sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's the era that all those other guys came in when music was, all this stuff was fresh and new and it was amazing. What Paul was able to do with all of these brands so established, I think, again, is incredible.
I do too. PRS has recently celebrated its 40th anniversary. If Leo Fender had stayed at Fender for 40 years, he'd have still been there in 1988, 89.
Right.
I mean, all right, I don't know what he was doing in 88, 89. G&L maybe? If Orville Gibson had stayed at... I don't know about Orville Gibson, actually. If Ted McCarthy had stayed at Gibson for 40 years, he'd have still been there in the 80s. I don't know if he was or not, was he? I mean, obviously, Ted ended up doing a lot of work with Paul, so... I'm pretty sure that Ted is Paul's hero, guitar-making hero.
Right.
Or guitar personal hero. Because of what he did at Gibson in the 50s. For those of you who don't know, Ted McCarthy presided over all the classic era Gibson solid bodies for one, but also a lot of the classic hollow bodies too, and semis and all that. He was the president when the 335 came out, the Flying V, the Les Paul, etc., etc. So he deserves the place without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Leo Fender, obviously, I mean, having the vision for a production solid body electric guitar, and I know we can talk about Paul Bigsby in that breath as well, but Leo did it. Yeah. And bolting bits of wood together in a market that thought guitars were basically, carved like violins was an amazing feat. So does Paul sit alongside those guys?
So this is interesting. Todd Roy Music says Paul Reed Smith is one of the second generation of guitar makers like Tom Anderson, John Suhr, James Tyler that built on what McCarthy and Leo Fender and Les Paul started. And I agree to some extent. I think, you could say about those guys, I mean, of course, what they did was, so original, but they weren't inventing a stringed instrument. What they had happening at the time was the advancements in technology and pickups, and they were doing all the experimenting. I think for me, Paul Smith, just the impact that he's had, and the incredible self-belief, and it's remarkable. And he's such an inspiring guy.
Yeah. But I think, with all deference to Paul, Leo Fender and
Ted McCarthy and...
Well, I meant the other people at Fender, but, they came up with the solid body production electric guitar.
Yeah.
Gibson came up with more or less the thin line semi. So they were originators.
Okay.
And I don't know if Paul has originated as such.
No.
But that whole second generation thing, refining the art, and having a business of that size for that long, I'm not sure of anyone else who's done that. Actually.
Yeah. No, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Simon, as always, buddy. And he says, okay, last one, sorry, chaps. So a final one from Simon. The Jim Irsay collection is going up for auction soon. If money was no object, name a guitar or two you wish you could buy or collect. And he uses the examples of Gilmore's Strat or Clapton's Fool. And I'm assuming they're not in the Jim Irsay collection, are they? Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Let's see. Oh, Christie's are selling it. That's interesting. So, money no object, Dan. Forget his collection for a second. What would you go for?
I guess I would say Neil Fenn's Gretsch would be amazing. And you know, a guitar I've been fascinated by, and not one that I think that basically Danny Gatton's Telecaster, because of all the stuff that he did to it.
Right.
You know, just to because he made it such a personal thing. And I just think, as a vehicle for expression, what he was able to do on that was so extraordinary. I'm sure I probably wouldn't be able to play a note from it, but I just think I marvel at Danny Gatton as his creativity, like master guitar player. But if there was any roadblocks as far as sonically, he just bulldozed through them. You know, he'd happily take a power drill to his Blackguard telly and just, you know, I love that. So I think Danny Gatton's telly would be one that I just love to have, to say this.
Yeah.
This.
He does, in fact, own all of those guitars, and also Kurt Cobain's Smells Like Teen Spirit Mustang.
Oh, wow.
Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar. Some John Lennon stuff, George Harrison stuff. Clapton's 1939 Martin 0042 that he used on MTV Unplugged. $1 billion, apparently.
Wow.
$1 billion collection, according to Guitar World,
Jeez.
that I've just Googled.
Oh,
Amazing.
I know. The one guitar I'd love to have, Green Meanie.
Yeah. There you go.
That'd be it. Green Meanie. Thank you. Done.
Obviously it would be great to own something like that. But owning something like that is a liability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can't really take it. Well, you could, but as long as you'd have to tell people it was a fake.
Completely.
I do know people who've done that, who've got really exceptionally valuable and famous guitars, take them out and go, oh no, it's a replica.
What I love about those guitars, though, because you and I've played some of these silly guitars, right?
Silly guitars.
Like guitars that have so much meaning for us on so many different levels. And you pick it up and it's just a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. It's not like, oh my God, it plays itself. Look, I'm amazing. Like, that doesn't happen.
No, it's just
still a guitar. And it's like, I love the perspective that gives. I'd pick up Green Meanie and I'd sound like an absolute fool.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I love that. You know, and I just, because what Steve was doing in those days meant so much to me.
Oh, does he? Presumably he still owns it, does he?
I don't know. I think Green Meanie has probably been modded and turned into something else now.
Yeah.
Because that's it. When we heard it, it was partway through its life of being, you know, turned into different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be really cool.
It would be like a maple board
Charvel.
2 Sunburst Strat for me. So
yeah, okay.
Like Dwayne Allman's. Did he have one? I think he had one. You know, like a brownie Strat, but not brownie. I think that's what I'd like. I'd like that. And like a really killer 59 to 61 Sunburst Stoptail 335. Like the one that Book had, which may well be Vince Gill's one, I don't know. But
wow.
One of those.
Gordon Rankin says, Dan, a friend met Les Paul and took his 63 Tele. Les took a hammer and a straight screwdriver and whacked the heck out of the brass saddles. It now plays in tune like no other. See, and what I love about that, Les isn't coming to that with any like, oh, 63. It's like, no. This is a guitar that has a particular defect that I know how to fix.
Yeah.
Give me a rock. Bang. Brilliant.
There we are. So lots of lovely suggestions coming in. Peter Frampton's 59. Titus Crusher wants just a burst, a 60. Johnny Marr's 335s, 355 says Chris Quinn. Robert Johnson's guitar, ? Says Angus McLennan.
Jason Hattrick says, I think I want Dan's SG.
Ian Roster says Django Selma. I think I want Dan's SG. Cool. Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Simon, for the question. Will Kiefer. Hello, Will. Will Kiefer says, front of house at most gigs. I use digital mixers for convenience. Lots of monitor channels. They can walk around with an iPad to adjust levels. Do you have the same misgivings about digital PA mixers as you do modelers? I've decided I'm going to stop talking about it, Will, because it just upsets too many people. And just say that you've got to play what you think sounds good.
Yep.
Now, I'll give you one piece of personal experience. I bought one of those Soundcraft UXI 24s things, which is what you're talking about, and have used it on a couple of front of house jobs. And there's two possibilities. One, it wasn't optimized for the powered cabs I was using. Three possibilities. Two, I just didn't know how to use it properly. Three, I didn't like the sound of it as much as I do an analog desk, hefty solid state power amps and wooden cabinets. I always think they sound better, personally. Or at least in my experience, they sound better. But that doesn't mean that somebody who's better front of house technician, who really knows the gear, who's familiar with it, who maybe knows the venue a bit better, couldn't get a much better sound out of that stuff you're talking about. So I have decided I'm just not going to moan about it anymore, because it's all subjective, it's all personal, and you've just got to use what makes you perform, play, and feel the best. And I think that's going to be different for all of us, is where I am on it now.
Okay.
I just upset too many people when I say how horrible it sounds. Because it sounds horrible to me, but other people think it sounds fantastic. And I think they're equally correct, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone's correct. It's just an opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. And, you know, I'm not a sound guy. I don't.
Nor am I.
You
But
know.
I end up doing a bit of front of house.
Yeah, but you do a lot more production stuff than me. It's a tool like every other tool. That's okay. A quick story then. Speaking to a friend of mine is doing touring with a major international artist for a long time, and doing, I think some of the tours are the biggest tours on record, right? Amazing. And they'd had their own PA and they take it around with them, and it was just heroic. And the last tour they did, he had a chat to the sound guy, says what's happened. And they'd changed from their old analog system to a new digital system. Now, it might have been that they were working the bugs out. But he just said it felt so different. And he said that whole tour was just exhausting, because it just felt, yeah. For him, all the weight had gone out of it.
Yeah.
But again, you're getting used to new gear.
That's it. It's the venue, the gear itself, the familiarity. One final thing I would add is, that doesn't happen very often.
What?
I totally forgotten what I was going to say.
Welcome to where I live. Yeah. Look, horses for courses. Horses for courses.
Oh.
It's all fantastic. It's all amazing.
I wish I could
Use what you
remember
got.
I was gonna say.
Use what you got.
What was I going to say?
I'll say one thing. When I used to in Sydney.
That never happens to me.
In Sydney, a friend of mine had this. It was like a 300 watt old analog desk with a built-in 300 watt power amplifier that we used to stick a couple of EV.
Yeah.
Do you know those square box EV speakers?
Yeah.
And we just used to gig with that, right?
I nearly bought some of them last weekend.
Right. Amazing. And we would play these big venues and we would crank the crap out of this desk, and it'd be in the red, and And it would always sound great.
Yeah.
Then we were looking at upgrading our PA, and we were looking at upgrading and spending quite a lot of money to upgrade to this new PA thing. And it had all this built-in psychoacoustic stuff. And what was really interesting is that as soon as we got to the output level, as soon as we were pushing it hard, it just sounded like garbage.
Right. Yeah. Well, that would certainly be my experience, certainly with high end. And you get, because I can always hear that.
But this silly old analog 300 watt, and the thing we're looking at was like supposed to be like, 5,000 watts, and this thing was like, was like 300 watts.
Yeah.
But it, PMP and RMS and all that stuff.
I know what I was going to say. So we have predominantly analog front end in terms of mic pre's and all that. In fact, entirely analog front end, nice mic pre's and things like that. In the middle is a UA 16 channel in and out interface, Apollo X16, which is fantastic, and that's the brain of it all. And then we have a lot of outboard gear, analog outboard gear, so a Neve summing mixer, SSL bus compressor, Neve master and EQ, and then a patch bay to patch loads of stuff in. So it's analog front and back, digital in the middle to handle it all. And in that, I think it was doing the tracks that we did recently, or my track anyway, I was thinking you couldn't use this in the real world.
Right.
Because you can't recall anything.
Right.
And
yeah.
And that's where it's just a total no-brainer for more complex live mixing. You can't not do it digitally anymore.
Yeah.
There is a massive difference between like a top-end bloody, I don't know what the brand might be, but a high-end live digital console and the thing you can buy for 500 quid from Anderson's. There is a world of difference between those two things.
When I went and saw Radiohead, you couldn't possibly do what they were doing.
Yeah.
In like this thing in the round. You couldn't do it digitally, and that was one of the best live things I've ever seen.
You couldn't do it digitally?
So you couldn't do it analog,
right, yeah.
Because it was so complex, and you've got...
Yeah, so in that sense, it's a non-question.
It's like, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so it can sound great, no question. Like digital can sound great.
Yeah, can and does a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Does that make everyone happy?
Yeah, no, there's no point trying to be happy.
Does sound good.
I think it does. I don't want to say, but I think it does. Scotty K says, what are your thoughts? Well, obviously the convenience thing makes total sense. Are you happy with the sound? Do you love it? Scotty K, thank you for your generosity, Scotty. He says, hello, M&D. Follow up. My drummer fiance and I rented a practice room. Oh yes, I remember this. Many a White Stripes song played. And picked up radio through my fuzz face with my guitar volume between 2 and 8. Wet dry through my Boogie Cali and their JCM 2000 DSL. Already planning our next sesh. Please take one from the chat.
Well done, mate.
There you go.
Fabulous.
Nice one, Scotty.
Please I like that idea. Set up a rehearsal thing and just invite some friends down with some beers.
That's a great idea.
I love that idea.
You do have to call your band the Shite Stripes, by the way. Okay? It just has to happen.
That's really good. That's really good.
Michael Giliberto. Hi, Michael. He says, hi all, checking in from Snowbound, Connecticut. Dan, thanks again for the DevTech DSOTM intro, Dark Side of the Moon. Love it. Yeah. Have to try the boost in front today. Love you guys. And we love you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Thanks for being here.
And you're so welcome. Yeah, it's a game changer for me. Love that thing.
Coming up on Friday's show, we play another DevTech pedal, the Soft Drive, which is a take on a Pete Cornish pedal. And very lovely it sounds too.
Yeah. Tis a groovy thing.
And Scotty K... again, Scotty K says, what are your thoughts on the Benson Babylon 880 watts?
Babylon. So there's a video of Chris Benson looking at that. It's like, when I didn't think I could love Chris anymore, and he goes and does that.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's just the guy. What a legend.
So it is the world's loudest tube amp called the Babylon, right? The world's most powerful production tube amp. 880 watts, featuring a Chimera-style preamp, an incredibly musical power section with 14, count them, 14 KT88s.
Oh my.
And over 75 pounds of transformers. I mean, why?
Oh, I wonder if Sun have seen that.
There you go. Babylon was designed in tandem with our transformer winder, Brian Sowers at Sour Sound, with the goal of, well, making a ridiculously powerful and equally good-looking and sounding guitar amp that almost nobody has any practical use for.
Love it.
Chris Benson, we love you.
Yeah, honestly, what a legend.
That's great. That's great. I know some of the old sound systems used to have huge,
Yeah.
like reggae and dub sound systems with huge tube power amps.
Yeah. This
This is where we get misty-eyed about tube amps again. So
yeah.
please turn off if it ignores you.
Yeah.
Annoys you.
I told you. Yeah, we had a quick story last week about what was the sound system that Grateful Dead.
Yeah, that thing.
And it was so powerful, and nearly killed one of the engineers working on it. You know, because the DC voltages that you're working with at that point are just insane. And they'll leap out of the box and find you at that sort of level, you know. Just insane. But there's, no, I'm not going to go there.
Ryanie 1994 wants to know, will there be more experience days announced? They sell out so quick. They'll be in the middle of 2026 will be the next lot that get announced, because we're sold until... When are we sold until? We're sold up until December, maybe.
Up till December.
Yeah, so we put them on sale a long time in advance, because some people travel a long way to come here and they need to plan it and everything. So once again, sorry, we can't do more of it. It's we can only have 6 people at a time, otherwise it wouldn't work as well. We are trying, obviously not very well, to figure out something that can involve more people, and that's part of what we're doing with the moving stuff around. Just trying to be a bit more. Yeah. Josh Day. Hello, Josh Day.
This call's for you, Josh.
I like it.
Like that?
Josh Day, there's no question. So, sorry we don't have a question from you. If it comes up, we'll come back to it, Josh. So, sorry if we've missed that. And BV says, a question from the chat. Will the overshirt sizes be restocked in the store? One person for looking for a navy enlarged. Yes, we're constantly trying to get more overshirts. They're quite hard to get hold of for various reasons. So please keep an eye on the store, and we'll just restock them as soon as we can get any. They've been really popular, as modelled by the wonderful Daniel. Daniel, what are your hopes for the world?
I just want everybody to get along. Love each other. Actually, that is what I want.
Jason Sears. Hey, Jason. He says, what a joy. Oh, yes. What a joy waking up the day after Thanksgiving to see you chose one of my pedal brand rig challenges. My one brand pedal rig challenge. Just wanted to express my sincere appreciation, and Remy Harris was stellar on Friday.
Oh, bless you, mate.
Thank you, Jason. And thanks for all your challenge ideas. We've got a barrage of challenge ideas to work through as and when, and we'll do that. So thank you.
They're fun. Really fun.
Derek Cullen. Hi, Derek. He says, hi, Leggins. MXR 10 band bass EQ as a boost, well, BEQ, 10 BEQ, I guess that means bass, into a Fishman loud box sounded farty. Any tips? Separately, do guitar leads make a difference? Should I invest in a premium lead? Thanks, guys, from Derek.
Let's look at the leads thing first. The most important lead is the lead from your guitar to your pedal board. because of the interaction with the impedance and inductance of the coil with the capacitance and the resistance in the cable. And it's this whole thing, it's all based around AC theory, the way that all interacts together. I like a really low capacitance cable, keeps everything bright. I like bright. But as soon as you hit that first gain stage or your first buffer, then the cable after that, the capacitance basically disappears. And what's interesting though is there are cables that I prefer at the end of my pedal board going to my amp. I wouldn't use the cables from my pedal board to my amp as my guitar cable. They've got a different job. But if you are going to spend money on a cable, get a really good guitar cable for your guitar for the first stage of pedal board would be my suggestion.
Gordon sent these. Gordon Rankin, thank you.
Oh, bless you,
Often
mate.
sends us care packages with things in it.
He does. Actually, Gordon, I've got a question for you about a care package you sent.
So these are Analysis Plus Pro Audio cables with Oval.
Get out of town.
Oval Business. Analysis Plus cables. I don't know, is that a speaker cable
That
or
looks
is
like
that?
a speaker cable, but I might be wrong.
But I don't know if it is, because it could be this, look, with the copper,
That's what I think.
with the copper shield.
Yes, but that would still be speaker cable, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
If you got, oh, look at that. Oh, I guess like that. It could be either. Pro Audio. Oh, that is wicked.
John Mayer likes them apparently.
I love that.
So anyway, if you're talking about premium cables, yeah, we for me there's kind of the capacitance thing is really important, like Dan was saying. So you want the amount of capacitance that makes the most sense for your sound. Now, there are players down the years that like high capacitance cables and really long runs, purely because it removes a great deal of top end.
Yep.
So if you're plugging in, like Albert Collins, for example, plugging into his cranked Super 6 or whatever it was, some Fender amp, crazy treble, he liked a long cable.
Yeah.
Now, he might have liked a long cable because he could run around the stage.
Absolutely. That was Albert's thing, because he moved around a lot.
Yeah.
However, it's also really, really important to remember. Oh, that's nice.
Maybe someone listen. Oh man, yeah. That's it.
Is that the one?
That's it.
It's really important to remember that the cable, if it, like mathematically, when you're looking at it, it's what the cable's going into. It's the impedance that it's going into. So it's going into, say, normal valve amp with a 1 mega ohm impedance. That's one thing. If it's going into something that's got a lower input impedance, then this changes everything that has to do with this. So it's really important that when you're talking about the cable doesn't exist in isolation. It's the relationship that it has with what is going through the cable and what the cable plugs into. Here endeth
Yes.
the lesson.
Yes. And then it's about practicality. And then it's about like the tactile nature of it. Does it coil up? Is it flexible? Is it hard wearing and long lasting? And those things start to become more important as you start going through cables, or like the way they coil or don't. But yeah, it is worth buying good quality cables, but don't be necessarily blinded by the bright lights of a flashy brand name. Understand what it is about cables that make the difference, and it is how robustly they're constructed, what the capacitance value is, and it might be that the flashy brand name that's trying to get your business might not necessarily be the best way to go.
Yep. That's right. And people going, it's snake oil. That's and
It's physics.
Jason said exactly, it's not snake oil, it's physics.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes,
Well, that's beautiful cable.
Isn't it?
That's really, that's the way it lays.
yeah,
That's great. I dig that.
because we all love to lay a beautiful cable.
Had a curry in the weekend.
Yep. So MXR 10 band EQ as a boost into a Fishman loud box, and it started farting. Yeah. Okay. So Fishman loud box is a transistor acoustic guitar amplifier. Now the nature of the way those things overdrive, and I know this from my AER, I know it from all kinds of transistor amps, but full range. Once you start getting into acoustic amps, they are closer to a PA speaker than they are a traditional guitar amp. Now they're not a PA speaker, it's not the same thing, but they are wider frequency range. Yeah, they have different kind of speaker, and it's not like a normal electric guitar amp, and it is really nothing like a normal tube electric guitar amp. And they do, yeah, they don't overdrive in a nice way, in my personal opinion. Of course, there are going to be people who always like it, but yes, what's happening there is you're probably pushing too much bottom end, and I would guess that farting is happening in the low end up to about 400 hertz probably, and it's not a very nice sound. So lay off some of those bottom frequencies, push the upper mids and the trebles, and that will be a slightly nicer overdrive, but it's never going to overdrive like a tube does. Now what you could try is something like Hageman's EF86 booster, which you can also see on this Friday's show, or some sort of tube preamp and overdrive into that. That might be a bit nicer. But yeah, it's pushing a transistor guitar amp, like a Roland JC or Session or some of the Quilter stuff, you know, pushing that into overdrive with a boost or an EQ could totally work if you like that kind of thing. Once you get into specific acoustic guitar amps, for me, it just doesn't work.
Agreed.
I don't love it.
Yep, agreed.
As someone who uses acoustic guitar amps all the time.
Yep. We are in agreement, good sir.
Roger Newport.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, Roger. He says, hello, chaps. What are your thoughts on the new Electro Harmonics interface hardware plugin pedal? On a related note, have you ever done a show on using pedals as outboard gear for your DAW? Yes. I used an Ecorec to process some drums once.
Such a cool show.
And I use the CXM78 reverb all the time as outboard, and various other things, Source Audio Collider. I'm not sure we've done a show specifically on it because I know no one will watch it. Just like they didn't doing the Ecorec on drums. But yeah. One great thing about modern digital pedals is they can usually take line level.
Yeah.
And they work damn near as good as rack gear as studio outboard. In fact, I would much rather use something like the CXM78 or the Source Audio Collider than I would certain mid-level rack gear.
Yeah, completely. So much of the modern stuff, your Strymon and Empress and these guys, a lot of that gear is designed, it has to be able to work in an effects loop at line level, and therefore it can work great as outboard gear. And I really do like that bit of gear from of Electro Harmonics. It makes it really simple to plug your effects or whatever and use it as outboard gear. It's really, really clever.
So let me get this straight.
You get it straight, baby.
It's an audio interface.
Correct.
And it's got effects loops in it.
That's right.
So you can use your pedals
as post.
Fantastic. Right.
Yep.
What is really cool about that, one of the questions we get sometimes is, that's how it's like that, starts like that. You idiots. You're banging on about how much you hate digital modeling, and yet you'll use stuff like Strymon Timeline, other pedals that have digital signal processing. And I have to point out that, yes, right, number one, we don't hate digital modeling. We just don't choose to use it if there's another option in terms of guitar amplifiers. The thing about stuff like the Timeline, Source Audio Collider, any well-designed digital pedal designed for use in a guitar rig is it has analog drive-through right? So the digital effect is mixed on top of your analog dry sound. Now, when you use a pedal as outboard gear in your studio, and presumably this is one of the things that the EHX effects interface enables you to do, and I sincerely hope that it does, is you can set the pedal to kill dry and you can have it on a separate bus. So you're using it as genuine outboard gear. You're mixing the wet effect. And some more housekeeping?
No, that's it.
Oh, we didn't even have any housekeeping music.
I was too busy trying to find us.
Could you
Right.
let people know that
Hang on, let people know music. Can we let people know?
Can we let people know? Welcome to the third floor of the D&M department store,
We're
where you
gonna
can
let you know. We're
you can
gonna
find the
let
Fender
you
Santa
know.
Ana Overdrive and the Fender Traver.
Fender Traver.
Exit here.
to enter will be sent out.
The link
All active patrons
to enter.
Okay,
is gonna-
the link for all active patrons to enter will be sent out tomorrow, which
Sending
presumably
out-
means if you sign up now, you'll get it.
Sending out the link, and I'm sending out the link. There you go.
Good.
nicely done.
You like that?
Nice.
Yep.
Um,
I'm feeling it. I'm
it's
feeling
not
it.
lift music unless there's a major seventh in it.
Yeah. Well, that was a major 6/9, but a seventh is in there. And the sharp 11 as well. There you go. There you go. There's your 7.
So yes, let us know if you've tried the Electro Harmonics effects interface. That looks really cool. I want to say that didn't Audient do something similar a
They
while
did,
back?
and there was a valve in it.
Yeah,
And
we've
the
got it.
Audient
I
one.
found that in the cupboard too, so I was going to give that a go.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Because prosaically, there's a lot of people out there who are like, hang on, guitar, computer, what?
Yeah.
What the hell goes in between these two?
Yeah. That's right.
And it's a valid question.
It is. It is a valid question.
I broke down in tears when I first tried to use Cubase with my PC
Oh, did you?
in 2002. Literally broke down in tears
Okay.
because the sound was going in,
That wasn't coming out.
and 9 hours later, it wasn't coming out.
Man, I remember back when I first started looking at this stuff, and you would use an Atari because it had the best clock or whatever in it to run an audio program, and all the studios were doing it using this Atari thing, and I thought it was just amazing. And then I sat down with a friend because he had one set up and used it, and I thought, oh, that's great. The next day I went out and bought a 1/2-inch 8-track and spent the next 2 weeks soldering up cables and bought a little analog desk and just started recording to the 8-track. And the Atari thing was really cool, but it just got me into the recording bug. And the only thing I had at that time was a 4-track. And I thought, well, 1/2-inch 8-track's going to be really cool. Ah, that's right. Channel 9 was doing a big upgrade, and my friend was there and he said, oh, we've got this if you want this. You can have it for free.
Wow.
It's an Atari, ATR 60 it was, 1/2-inch 8-track. And, oh man, I've still got it in Australia. It's the heaviest thing I've ever lifted. There's a bit of music gear. I wouldn't, it was crazy. And I've always flirted with the thought of bringing it over here, but the boat would sink.
I don't know why it would be. Why would it be so heavy? Transformers.
No, it's just that, honestly, it's just such a lump. It's a crazy thing.
I've never actually recorded to tape. Like being hands-on, I've recorded to tape in terms of recording,
Yeah.
but I've never been the person that's dealt with the tape.
That's so cool.
I've never done it. I've watched people doing it, obviously, but yeah. Oh, it's a lovely thing.
From BV.
Yes, I saw it. Speedy says, could we repeat the housekeeping because the stream froze?
Oh,
The housekeeping was purely that this month's patron giveaway is a Fender Santa Ana Overdrive and a Traverb, 2 winners, You'll receive the link tomorrow. The email will go out tomorrow to all active patrons. So you've got to be in it to win it. And thank you, patrons. Thank you very much. Matt Wicks. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Matt Wicks says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on finding optimal pickup height. Is there a unified theory, or do some pickups have special rules?
Oh, it's a really, really good question. It depends. So it depends on a number of things, and it's worth talking to pickup manufacturers about this. Where I think it makes the most difference for me is the neck pickup, right? Because the strength of the magnet underneath the neck pickup has a big effect on the way the strings sustain when they vibrate.
On single coils especially.
Yep. So one of the great things about a junior, when I do this, there's no magnet underneath that, so the strings are free to resonate for as long as they like. You stick a big magnet under there, and it's going to dampen that down. Now, even though it only dampens it down a little bit, what we talk about is little bits of things. So this is it does make a difference. Pickup height in that respect makes a huge difference, because the closer the magnet is to the strings, and it's a thing called inverse square law. Basically, if you halve the distance, you double the output. Same thing with microphones and stuff. Half the distance, you double the output. Half it again, double the output. That's basically what it is. It's more complicated than that. But with the magnets, there's another process involved. But if you imagine, the closer that the magnet gets to the strings, the more effect that the magnetic field is going to have on the strings and on the way that it interacts with the energy of the string. So you think, okay, well, that's easy. All I have to do then is pull the pickup further away from the strings to let it resonate more. The problem that happens when you do that, it gets quieter. So you've got to find that balance between having enough output from the pickup, but the pickup not having a detrimental effect on the sustain of the guitar.
Yeah, and there are definitely optimum heights, like standard generalized optimum heights for PAF humbuckers,
Right.
Strats, 60s and 50s style single coils, telebridge pickups that are flat pole. You'll find published places, and they're always a good place to start. Like Fender's own published specs, good place to start, and then gently experiment up and down from there, and you don't have to go very far. And some people, like Dan, likes his pickups up. He likes, especially in the Telecaster, he likes it up. He likes that guitar to have as much oomph as it can have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the opposite. I want it as low as it can possibly go before it'll sound weak, especially in Strats. And annoyingly, on my Sunburst Strat, because of the way they were back then, the neck pickup actually doesn't go quite low enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit too much pickup there for me. I like to have the guitar a bit weaker and the amp louder and the pedals louder. So that's just a personal choice about how you play. But it's definitely worth experimenting. And while you're there, if you're talking about PAF style humbuckers, look at the screw heights as well.
Yeah.
Because this made more difference than I realised it ever did until I experimented. So on a PAF style humbucker, for those of you who don't know, underneath here you've got two coils, right? One of which has screws in it, and one which has what's called slugs in it. And these are adjustable, these screws, and it does make quite a difference with string balance.
Yeah, completely.
And not only that, if you look at a P90, for example, you've got two things. You've got pickup height, but you've got pole piece height. And your pole piece relative to the top of the pickup makes a difference. Mm-hmm. So it might be that having all the pickup up, but the pole piece is flat, is a different sound than pushing the pickup down and pulling the pole pieces up. Mm-hmm. Because the bar magnet, or whatever it is in whatever pickup you're talking about, goes further away from the strings. So, yeah, I would say read some I always shiver a bit when I say go and read some forums, because you'll read a lot of cobblers in there. Maybe, and you'll also read some absolute gold in there, because
Yeah.
the good information is in there. You just got to search for it.
Find a Sound on Sound article. They're pretty good.
Or just find out what your favourite players did, and start with the optimum manufacturer published specs and go from there. Guitar's micro out of tune enough to someone
To
go,
sound like nice.
yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
funny.
I'm sure there's loads of stuff coming in on Pick Up the Height in the comments. Turn it up, says Johnny D123. Yeah. Plug them in, Polaris SoundCloud. Well, funnily enough, with the new move around, within a month, VCQ will be happening in the other room. It's currently called Studio B. It's going to probably end up being called The Bar, for reasons you will see.
I'm so excited.
And we'll be doing VCQ from in there. Basically, we've got a whole other room that we used to use as an office, and it's actually a lovely big room. So we're going to put VCQ. We're going to put a set in there. We can't play loud in there because of neighbours, but we are going to have all the production gear in there. So it means we've got a separate control room. It means we can run amps loud in here and sit in the studio. So having stuff plugged in for VCQ will be much easier. Not to mention open up a whole raft of new opportunities for us in terms of having amps in a different room in a studio kind of way, which we've not been able to do to date. So it's quite exciting on a number of levels. And it may help us push along with TPSI Friday. Maybe.
Matt Swanton says, nice jam. I was playing along. Yeah, you were. I love that.
Pass the doobie, says Because Dragon.
Ah, boy.
Good. The solid body is louder than a 335, says Barvel's Donk 7413. It could well be. It is extremely loud, that guitar, and Dan does hit the guitar harder than Thor, so that's the other reason.
I must say, your guitar sounded amazing in Friday's video. It was really lovely to hear it play.
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
yeah. So for those of you who haven't watched it, Remy plays does a Peter
which
Green
is most
thing,
of you.
and he has 2 Les Pauls that are wired in the Peter Green way, which is how my 345 is wired. And I said to him, "Would you mind trying this?"
Yeah.
And he picked it up, and it. Even if I say so myself, it sounded pretty damn good.
It was amazing.
It sounded pretty damn good. Oh. Yeah. Tom Frank says, is the room you're in isolated well enough for neighbours?
This one is.
This one is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, nobody complains in this room because of its physical situation. So sound does leak out, but nobody minds. The other room is different. That is in a situation that people would mind. So we have to be careful.
Polaris SoundCloud, are you guys based in the UK? Yes, we are based in the UK. It does. I mean, yeah. It would be one of the challenges that we have about being in the UK is lots of our favourite touring artists end up touring America, and we need to grab them while they're out here. But some good news is we've got a load of people that we've been dying to get on the show for a long time are coming through in the near future.
Yeah, we're just far enough away from London for it to be a massive pain in the arse to come here.
Yeah.
Rodrigo Guaspari. Hey, Rodrigo.
Hey, Rodrigo.
How are you? He says, hello, I'm happily practicing for the first time with a drummer.
Nice.
I need advice on gear for the vocals. Current gear not getting the job done. I can't hear myself and I end up shouting without realising it.
Yes.
Oh, mate.
So important.
Welcome to a lifetime of pain. So when you say gear for singing, presumably you have some kind of PA system. And I'm sorry if this is too simplistic, but the difference between a PA and a guitar amp is the frequency response, the type of amplification, and the nature of the EQ to get you heard. Now, what I would suggest you do is on whatever mixer you're using. So presumably you'll be plugging into some sort of mixer and that will have some sort of EQ on it. Turn the bass down. Turn the bass down to like 11 o'clock. And if there's an 80 hertz cut, push that in. Because that will, it might not sound as good, but it will stop whatever you're trying to turn up loud from overdriving. And it will make it much more audible. If there is a parametric EQ, set the upper mid EQ to between 3 and 4K and boost that significantly, like to about 2 o'clock, even more, and turn the treble up a bit as well. What you'll find if you do that, equally if you've got a low mid, get rid of some 400 hertz. Now, what will happen if you'll do that, you're sort of optimizing the amplification part of it to be able to project your voice and to project a voice in all the frequencies that it is most audible.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not asking the amplification to reproduce a load of bass that maybe is not... I mean, it does sound nice to have a lot of bass on a voice, but if the amp can't take it, then you don't want to be trying to push those frequencies. And that will give you the best chance of audibility. Secondly, when you set up your... Well, this is actually the first job you do, but when you plug your microphone in, on the mixing thing, whether it's a vertical one in a box or whether it's a horizontal one, right where you plug your mic in, the first control should be gain. Turn the fader down to 0, shout into the mic and turn that gain up as far as it will go so it just flicks red. Then bring the fader up. That means you'll be getting as much signal as you can possibly get down that vocal channel, giving you the most chance you've got to get plenty of volume out, and make sure those faders on the desk are at 0 dB,
Mm-hmm.
no lower, unless it's horrifically noisy, in which case you might want to. So that's the basic procedure for setting up a vocal sound that you can hear. Now, if the PA just isn't loud enough, and that's why you can't hear yourself, then
You might need
yeah,
a PA that delivers a bit more.
that's more powerful. And I'm assuming that because you're rehearsing, the PA speakers are facing you, right? Because if they're not, the next problem you've got is like REVs are so brilliantly well shielded behind that all the sound goes out the front. So if you're stood even a little bit behind them, you're not going to hear anything. And in that sense, you need a monitor.
Yep.
So you need a separate feeder, a speaker that's back up at you, or in-ear monitors so that you can hear yourself singing. It is literally the most important part of any band you play in is the vocals. So unlike every band I have ever been in, prioritize it, make it the most important thing. And I say that with some passion because I've played hundreds of gigs where you can't really hear the bloody vocals.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's the same. Dan and I both very enthusiastic singers. We love singing. And what do you think?
When I was putting the analogs together this year, I was hunting. So Mick had loaned me this old Line 6, like PA, he was using it for your acoustic guitar. And I loved it as a monitor. I wanted to find another one of those. They don't make them anymore. So I got a couple of Yamaha 12-inch and a horn, the new PA thing for the rehearsal. The difference it made at rehearsal when you could hear the vocals clearly, therefore you could hear the harmonies and everyone knew what was going on. It made all the rest of the music so much easier to get right. if fundamentally you can't hear the vocals, it doesn't matter what's going on with the rest of the music, because you don't know. If you can't hear it, you don't know if it's any good.
Yeah.
If you can hear it and it's good, everything sounds good. And so actually doing editing a vlog where I'm doing the whole rehearsals and the first couple of gigs for the Danalogs, and I say in that thing that PA was probably the most important thing in getting the sound of the band
And it
together.
sounded fantastic. I mean, the gig that I came to sounded fantastic. You could hear all the vocals clearly, and Danalogs have fantastic vocal harmonies, and it's just a crying shame if you can't hear them.
Completely. And you never would get to that point if you couldn't hear yourself. But yeah, so Mick and I are quite passionate about that the vocals, of course, guitars and tone and everything, that's a given.
Yeah. Andrew R 2650 is saying one issue that, well, it sounds like an issue you've run into or you do run into, is that the drums can be terribly spilly down vocal mics. And quite often, sometimes if I'm doing a smaller gig and someone says, should we mic the kit? I'm like, no, because actually all the cymbals and snare will come through the vocal mics just fine. And if you're in super close proximity to a snare drum with a vocal mic, that is a significant problem, because obviously out of the snare drum you're getting 120 dB. If your drummer is like Simon, the guy I play with, but your voice is nothing like that, so that can be an issue. But I find once you're sort of 6 to 8 feet away from everybody else, especially if you're using something like a standard dynamic microphone like an SM58, it's much less of a problem.
Yeah.
If you're using super sensitive condenser mics, more of a problem.
It's why the SM58s are so...
Yeah, they have great rejection.
Yeah, completely.
So...
Yeah. Thomas Eichinger says, is Seal coming in this year? So funnily enough, Seal texted me 5 minutes ago. So he was in the UK just before Christmas, but he was only in and out for like a day. And he said, yes, him and Zach, his guitar player, who is amazing, they're going to come on, they're going to do some tunes, we're going to hang out, and, he's such an amazing guy, such an inspirational guy. If you love music in any way, you will love hanging out with him. And so we're going to make it happen. But so he's really excited about coming on. It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah, we love him.
Will Wetherington says it takes 2 hours to drive across England? Depends where you are in England. Yes, sometimes. Where we are, I mean, it can take 2 hours to go across London.
Yeah.
It can take 2 hours to go across a third of London. So that's usually the problem. Yeah. We might be freezing if we are apologies.
Josh Lawler says his guitarist Zach is great. I've watched his YouTube channel for a long time. He is amazing.
And Sean Eric
really
Brooks is
amazing.
saying seal, like Kiss from a Rose seal.
Yeah.
I had the weirdest thing. It was Catherine's birthday. Dan's in the south of France with Seal. Catherine's phone goes. It's Seal singing happy birthday to Catherine. It was like, this is crazy. This is the craziest shit that's ever happened.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Yeah. It was a big day.
Yeah.
It was a big day.
Yeah, he's such a beautiful human. He really is such a beautiful guy.
Mike Darkangelo. What a great name, Mike. Cheers, DNM. Well, cheers, Mike. I love the show, and I want to thank you both for your dedication to this journey we all know and love. As a long-time Fish fan...
Oh, yeah. Marillion Fish. Nice.
Does he mean fish, or does he mean fish as in Fish the band Fish?
Oh.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on jam and improvisational music.
Okay, so that would be the Fish band. That would be Fish with, what's his name? Trey Anastasio.
Yeah.
Personally, I have always loved songs and I love chord and harmony and the structures and arrangements and all that stuff. What I find difficult about the jam thing, which is why I never got it really into the Grateful Dead, even though I've heard some amazing things,
You've done it now.
it just never connected with me in a way that, say, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway connected with me, or King Crimson Red connected with me, or Yes connected with me. It just never, the jam thing, maybe it's my ADHD, but I got a bit bored of it. What I do think is really interesting though, like when I listen to the Allman Brothers do the thing and Derek Trucks takes a solo, he can take a solo for 10 minutes
Yeah.
and he'll keep me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I think a real skill, so in jazz you can play a million chords because it's changing all the time, you've always got something new and interesting to play over. With a jam thing where you've just got a groove, really interesting story. Robin Ford was saying they were, getting ready for a gig with Miles Davis, and Miles walks in the room and goes, "Hey man, I don't play chords anymore." And they're like, okay. So from that moment on, stopped playing chords, just a groove. Set up a groove, and it was like, okay, if you can take.
Who's not allowed to play chords, keys and guitar?
Yeah, they were just, it all had to be just about a groove. And of course there was harmony and structure in there, but it's not about, hey.
I love all those trumpet chords.
Yeah, exactly. But what he would do, he would just play melodies over these grooves.
Yeah.
And then let it develop.
Yeah. Well, because if this came out with Remy on Friday, a good musician who knows all of that stuff, you imply the chords with the melody.
That's exactly right.
And you can hear the chord changes even though no one's playing them.
That's exactly right. And so I think what Miles was after is that freedom just to take the melody anywhere, and it keeps everyone on their toes. But for me, it's a skill, and I think Derek Trucks for me does that as good as anyone I've ever heard. He can take an E chord and he'll play a solo for 10 minutes and keep you. It certainly keeps me completely captivated. And I find that it's a rare thing for me personally.
Yeah, I was thinking about Tedeschi Trucks Band when the topic came up.
Yeah.
I'm the same as Dan. I don't really want to listen to it recorded. But live, if you're in the moment, having a nice time, a few drinks or whatever, then I love it. I'm down for it in that environment. And I think it's about environment.
Yeah.
But I'm with Dan. I like well structured, tight songs that have parts, and it's a different kind of genius in a way to say, what can I take away from this and pack it into 3.5 minutes of perfection. I'm more into that personally.
Yeah. And it's not, look.
Also, I'm a dreadful improviser, so I probably feel a bit challenged by it when I hear it, because if I start to hear someone repeat a pattern, I'm like, that's not improvising. That's just taking a pattern and running it up and down the neck. I don't want to hear that. If improvising for me is chord, melody, progression, tension and release.
Yeah.
Not running up and down the neck with patterns. And I hear a lot of that, and I'm not a fan. I don't know if Fish do that or not. Never really listened, but maybe.
But I think
should give it a go.
But absolutely, and I'm going to look into that this year. Funnily enough, I've been talking to Trey's tech, and they've got some of our gear, and they're really into it. So we might be putting a rig together. So that could be really interesting. But it's like. A lot of that early prog stuff, there was so much improvising in that, but a lot of those guys, they're real jazzers, and there's something with me about jazz harmony. You listen to Kurt Rosenwinkel, you you put anything in front of him, and it can be a 20-minute thing on an E half diminished chord, and you can play that one chord, and he is going to blow your mind. And I think the thing with a lot of the jazz harmony guys is that they know about the tension and release, and about how to take these imply these chords and take it in a direction. I can't listen to a pentatonic thing for 20 minutes. However, I can listen to melody for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that Derek gets me, because everything he plays is I can sing it. You know, Chris Buck, I can sing it. I can. That's the thing I think that I find so captivating with that. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Like, because in order to listen to some stuff, you do need to know a little bit about music when it starts to become a bit exclusive, where it's music for musicians.
Completely.
And your appreciation of it is because you understand what they're doing. And if you don't understand what they're doing, which is me for a lot of more harmonically complex stuff, it just, it's like a drum solo. It sounds like falling down the stairs. Unless you're a drummer and you understand the complexity of what they're doing. Yeah. And that's not to belittle or embolden any approach. It's just what resonates with me. What do I like? Yeah. And I can appreciate that some people like simpler forms and some people like more complex form. And
I think it's the reason that I love Steve Gadd so much. And Ianto Thomas, who plays the Robin Ford, plays the Mark Knopfler. Those guys, there is almost lyrical nature of their playing. And it's like, I can listen to them play forever and never get bored of it. But as soon as it gets into the over complicated, I can listen to what I can do. I find it really cool. Like I remember watching, I went to see Transatlantic that had Mike Portnoy on it, and like Steve Morse and Mike Portnoy, just unreal. And then I was with Mark, and he's like, "Check this thing coming up," and it's like this crazy 16-bar drum fill on this tune, and it was amazing. But what was amazing about it was the structure of the song, all through this crazy drum fill. Yeah. It actually meant something within the music. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I love that stuff.
Anand Dad, yes, says, two guys make it clear they really don't know Fish as they describe what Fish does best as their favourite things. We're not talking about Fish. That Fish were mentioned in the question, but we said we don't know what Fish does, and we don't listen to it. So we're talking about jam bands in general, like jamming in general is what we're talking about. So we're not talking about Fish specifically. Don't worry.
We're going to educate ourselves. Tell you what I'm going to do. Tell me, all the Fish fans out there, tell me the album that I need to listen to, and I'll listen to it on the drive home tonight. For someone that doesn't really know Fish, the band, what is a great album to get started? Let me know.
There you go. Yes, non-aligned is next. Hello, non-aligned.
Hey, mate.
Says, do you have a guitar that's the one that got away, that either you most wish you had purchased or that you could have bought? Mine is a fantastic 59 slab neck refin telly that my wife forbade purchasing in 1992 for $800.
Yeah, I had a 64 Strat that was available at Sunburst Music in Coogee. Refinished black 64 Strat, and I played it, and it was the best guitar I'd ever played. And I remember because our trumpet player at the time just happened to walk in, and he comes up to me and goes, "I didn't know you could play like that." And I'm like, "I didn't know I could play like this." But it was $4,000 at the time, and I just didn't have the money. And I went into that shop because I just lived around the corner, and the guitar was there for 2 weeks, and I played it every day in that 2 weeks.
This day, cha-ching. What's the quote? Not today.
Can I put it away? Not today, my good man. I'm feeling saucy. Do you take chiching cash?
Wade's World, for those of you who don't
man.
know. Yeah, not really. I mean, I was lucky enough to start working on guitar magazines, I think, when I was 22 or 23, something like that. Very, quite young, in relatively speaking. And I was around amazing guitars a lot. And in those days, it's really funny because you could buy a Pucker 62 Strat for $5,000.
Yeah.
And you could buy a Doggy one for much less than that. And yet, but my yearly salary was, when I started, 8,500.
Yeah.
Right. So it was still more than 6 months' wages. So it was still out of reach. Because you could say, oh God, I just wish I'd bought all those guitars when they were cheap. And of course they weren't cheap because you still couldn't afford them. And I've been so lucky with guitars down the years. I have bought and sold guitars, and I had to sell a load in 2008 after all that anyway. And I don't regret any of it, and I don't miss any of it, because look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, these are the guitars you own now. Play them.
Completely.
Play them.
I
don't lament stuff like that. I try not to lament stuff like that.
I think we've all got those stories, and you learn from it. What matters is moving forward and making the most of the guitars that I've got, but also learning from that, learning that when I had found, because what would I have been then? I would have been 23, and I didn't know at 23 that such a special guitar that I couldn't walk into every second guitar store and find a guitar of equal brilliance. I didn't know because there was a guitar in a shop around the corner.
Yeah. I almost, I don't regret anything, but I almost feel sadder that I haven't had a guitar that makes me uninterested in other guitars. Because one of the things about Gas over the years is you get all this stuff and you're like, oh, maybe that will be the thing. Maybe that will be the thing. Maybe that will be the thing. And all the time you're doing that, you're not bonding with the instrument that's going to really help you say what you're trying to say.
Yep.
And so it's the disadvantage of privilege, isn't it? That you get to have all this lovely gear, but maybe not really saying very much with it. Is kind of how I feel about going through so many guitars, because you're like, oh, now I've got to get used to this. Now, what I want to do is sound like that. I want to get that. So it's not always I am very grateful and feel extremely lucky that we have all this stuff, but it's not a one-way street. Everything is yin and yang at the end of the day.
Completely.
Everything.
Yep.
Anyway. Maybe that's what you learn. You've got to go there to come back. And what will happen now is a simplification done. Unlikely. Okay, I do wish I'd bought more vintage amps, because they were cheap.
Yeah, right.
Chris Costabile. I find new strings too bright, says Chris Costabile, and prefer them broken in for a couple of months, but now I have a Miris J and can only suffer brand new strings on it. Did you ever have a string age preference change with guitars?
I've always preferred new strings.
Yeah, I love brand new strings.
The snap.
Actually, 1 hour.
What was the test we used to have? Was it? That.
Yeah.
That was my test for new strings. It had the snap on that.
But that's some
Great.
dreadful piezo pickup acoustic, isn't it?
Probably.
Is it no?
I don't know.
Sorry
I
if
don't
I've
know.
got
But
that
it was
wrong.
just whenever I played it, I just
Yeah.
I just needed to have that. And if it had it, it's like my strings were bright enough.
Okay.
If it didn't, it's like time to change them.
Yeah, yeah. You might, Chris. You might have done this already. Perhaps investigate pure nickels. They are not as bright, and they go off a bit quicker. But they obviously this is wound strings because steel strings are all the same, or at least they're similar. And do try different brands that use different metal compounds. NYXLs sound different
They do.
to Kurt Mangan's.
Which sounds different to DR.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
they do have a difference. So I mean, I appreciate strings are stupid expensive now, but
Yeah.
try some different brands and do try some pure nickels. I would also try stainless steel. As an option, because what you find, right, maybe they're brighter at the beginning, but they might settle down to something that lasts much longer. And it's just worth trying some of the different alloys because they do sound different.
Yeah.
They do sound different. But yes, now we could talk about Brian May. Hates new strings, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Likes those Maxima Gold things, or used to, and really, really hates new strings. So
But what does he use for a pick?
yeah,
He uses a coin.
yeah, a
So
shovel,
it's like
World War II
he's-
shovel.
Doink. So you imagine the top end of that coin on new strings.
Yeah.
Ugh. I also remember. I remember when there's far out. I met him at NAMM last year for the first time. An album came out of his in 1998. Oh God, what was his number? He was a Pacifica player.
Oh, I know who you mean. I know exactly who you mean. Michael Lee Firkins. Michael Lee Firkins.
Firkins.
He had three names.
Right.
I knew he had three names.
Well done. So, I was a massive Michael Lee Firkins fan. I remember the album because it said there are no keyboards used in this album, and you listen to it, it's like that's all done on the guitar. Keyboard. It was freaking wild, and he had that Jeff Beck masterful control over the trem, and just beautiful. And I met him at NAMM for the first time last year, and I completely fanboyed over him because I'm like, oh, I had a Pacifica and I love that album and I really love what you do. But he hated new strings.
Yeah, right.
He would try and have them on as long as possible because
Yeah,
he
I
preferred
do.
the tone
I know people like
of
that.
strings that were sort of a bit rolled off. But he's still got it. You look at some of the videos he puts out on Instagram. Oh, he is such a beautiful guitar player. Yeah. Killer.
Chris Turner, Chris makes a great point. He says, I don't have a string age preference, but they do all need to be the same age. When you end up with one new string in an emergency, it makes my skin crawl. Yeah, they do.
Ooh, that's
they
a really good
pop
point.
out in a big way, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer the original question, Chris Costabile, I can't think of a guitar where I prefer a different age of string. I do like acoustic strings to break in just for a minute, and for a minute I use those Monel strings, they sort of sound broken in when you use them. So like an absolute brand spanking set of even phosphor bronzes on a acoustic guitar, like an hour on them to take away that is good. But yeah, I think Dan and I are both fans of new strings.
Completely. Haven't played this in years.
Drop D?
No,
Are you thinking of Good Times?
no, Sisters.
Oh.
Yeah, it's brilliant tune. That's the one.
That was good times, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I was remarking at how today there's such a great sounding Taylor. I sometimes find Taylors to be very upfront, which is why they work so great live. But that is such a lovely, rounded.
What they did with this
sounding
one
guitar.
was because when everyone was going, oh God, I hate Taylors, they sound too modern, they did this super thin finish
Right.
and did it with a bunch more vintage attributes.
Oh,
So
really?
you are hearing what they intended.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, solid rosewood back and side, solid 6 spruce top, I think. It was a
What's the bracing?
714 CE. It was their X bracing before they went to the
Okay.
scalloped X bracing before they went to the whatever they do now.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's a nice guitar.
Yeah, it's a really great guitar. Actually,
I gigged this years before I got my Collings.
but also that is the guitar that Simon Neil used to record, because I took that with me and he used that to record a song on the album they were working on.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
And Robin borrowed it for a bit, didn't he?
but he did.
Yeah, it's a nice guitar. That. It's a good live guitar too.
That's got some
Done a lot of gigs with that guitar.
yeah. It's got some big names on that guitar.
Greasy Kitchen, is that a new? No, it's well old. I've had that guitar. Well over 10 years. I was thinking it might be nearer 20 years, but it's not that long.
that guitar?
Yeah,
You've had that as long as I've known you.
got to be
15 or so?
2207, 208, something like that.
Mm.
09. So anyway, yeah, I've had that guitar a long time.
Well, it's 2026, so it's not far off it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cutaways are for the puffy shirt crowd, says Chris Quinn. I know.
That's funny.
I
That's really good.
despise cutaways on on electroacoustic guitars. I just don't, because there's no need to go up there for a start. So I just don't like the way they look. But it's a great guitar,
Yeah.
and they didn't do at that point. I don't think they did a non-cutaway version. My main acoustic guitar, the one I play most, is a non-cutaway. I love it. I love the way it just instant. It's like pickguard on or off a Les Paul. Like we got the on people over there, the off people over there. The never shall they meet.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. And of course, it would be mad for me not to have a guitar with Taylor on the headstock.
You know what? I'd never put that together until you just said it.
Well, Neville, who I used to play in a band with, and we had a sort of a pseudo-acoustic trio with our other friend Roger, who's sadly no longer with us. Neville had a Martin, obviously.
Oh, stop it. That is great.
Dan Morris says, I'm home for today's VCQ before shoveling snow. I just wanted to say thank you for all the guidance and help over the years. You guys are the best. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, buddy.
That's kind of you to say, buddy. And good luck with the snow shoveling. Seth Rowe, hello, Snow. And hello, Seth. He says it's snow day in KS, Kansas. If you could go anywhere in the world for the purpose of experiencing new music, where would you go?
New Orleans.
That's a very, 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 very good shout, Daniel.
I've never been, and I've always wanted to go there. When I talked to Matt Schofield about it and about the groove, there's a specific groove they've got,
Yep.
and I hear it in Matt's playing,
There is.
and it's just the coolest thing. I mean, I struggle with just keeping time. When I hear guys who can use time like that, I just find it amazing. So yeah, I'd love to go to New Orleans and see what's going on there.
Full Volume 69 says, what song did you just play in Drop D? It was, it wasn't at all Good Times by the David Lee Roth Band. It wasn't at all that. So there's no copyright strike required here. And I don't know if it played it right, but it was it was reminiscent of that. It's been a long time since I've listened to that record. Is it on Skyscraper?
Must be. Because he didn't do the album after that. That was the album after that had
Oh yeah, him.
yeah.
Yeah. Damn Good, not Good Times. Damn
Good.
Good.
There you go.
Sorry, apologies. Was it called Damn Good? I think it was. Maybe it is called Good Times.
Drop D tune was Good Times by David Lee Roth. There you go. Yeah. It is called Good Times.
Okay, there's another song on there called Damn Good. So what record was it on then?
Times. Was it just a single? Let's see.
Somebody in the comments will be screaming. Good Times by David Lee Roth. Thank you, everyone. Surely it's not on Even Smile.
No, it's not on Lead 'Em Smile. Is it on Skyscraper? Hang on, here we go. No, Damn Good was on Skyscraper, but obviously that's not that. Track listing, here we go.
No, it's not on there.
I wonder if it was a single.
Anyone, please?
No, yep. Come on, people.
Help.
We need you.
It's called Damn Good.
Okay, so that's on. That's on.
So it's not called Good
Skyscraper.
Times.
Yeah, Damn Good's on Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Damn Good, apparently, not Good Times. I thought it was called Good Times as well. Anyway, someone will clear that up in the comments. Where would I go if I wanted to experience new music? I think I would go somewhere away from Western music. I am so ignorant of non-Western rock and roll music in general. So maybe I'd go east.
Interesting.
And just go east. I don't know where. Like, I don't know, there.
Yeah, I just want to go. I mean, anything joyous, groovacious.
Yeah,
I'm in for.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the consensus seems to be for my listening pleasure on the way home for Fish would be the album Billy Breathes.
Billy Breathes. Okay.
So that's what I'm going to have listened to on the way home.
I'll do the same.
Okay. And then we'll reconvene. Japan. Look, so Mick and I were in Japan.
I was thinking Japan because I've been to Japan. We've been to Japan and I flipping loved it.
It's the best trip ever. It just, oh man, yeah, it was really great. What I love about Japan is their passion for, apart from everything, they are so flippin' passionate about music.
Yeah.
And the street performers in Japan were A, astonishing, B, so appreciated, was really wonderful. And I remember because I did some gigs out there with 10 Spirits, and there was a promoter, just a private promoter, who was a fan and says, "Look, I really want to bring you guys out here," and there's some, because obviously Dave being from
Tokyo.
XTC and they had and XTC had a lot of love in Japan, so and just it was so beautiful. They just love it so much. They're really into their passions in Japan. Like I remember walking down a street and you'd turn the corner and there'd be like 20 teddy boys doing the boot shuffle thing, and it was like, it's just so cool. Just such a cool place. But saying that, Japanese music in Kyoto and that stuff, I don't really have any way in there.
That's why I like the idea of new music.
Right.
Because if you just go and listen to more rock and roll with a different feel, it's not new.
Yeah, sure.
But you might enjoy it more because you've got a way in. I just want to wear a kimono and drink sake
Let's make that happen.
all afternoon.
Let's make that happen.
Johnny T. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, buddy.
Johnny T says, Mick, please explain again how the 345 went out of phase. Okay, right. Normally, in a 2-humbucker Gibson, or any other 2-humbucker guitar, you've got 2 pickups that are wound with the same magnet polarity, right? So I can't remember which is sort of standard. I want to say north that way, but it depends. The magnet is a bit of metal, sort of that long and that wide, and it has a magnetic charge, right? So one side of it is north, one side of it is south. And in 2 humbuckers that are going to work together, that magnet slides in underneath the 2 coils, and it will be the same for both pickups, so that when you have both pickups selected, they're magnetically in phase. If you remove the magnet from one of the pickups and you literally take it out like that, pull it down and flip it over and put it back in longitudinally, you've got a pickup where the magnetic polarity is reversed. Now, what then happens is, with both volumes at 10 on the guitar, they phase cancel. The pickups will cancel phase and you get that weak, hollow sound. Because they are the same volume, they're both flat out, so you get the most amount of phase cancellation because they're both trying to do the same thing. Therefore, maximum cancellation. If you reduce the volume of one of the pickups, that relationship changes. This one's doing more work than that one all of a sudden, or vice versa. And the amount of phase cancellation is smaller. So if the pickups are the same, you get the maximum amount of phase cancellation. And if you reduce them equally, you get the maximum amount of phase cancellation. If you reduce one more than the other, you get less phase cancellation. And Remy demonstrated that beautifully on Friday.
He did.
By turning the volumes up and down. And what, circular, back to a conversation earlier, I'm so interested to play with that. I'm not a fan of like the fully out of phase thing. I just think it sounds a bit weird.
So what's the difference then? Because if you take the magnet out and flip it that way, it's a different thing. If you, let me think, take the magnet out and flip it that way, you're taking if the north face is going that way, you're turning the north face that way. The same thing would happen then if I took the pickup out and rotated it that way around. You're then taking that side and then putting it back on that side. So
because it's the magnetic polarity in relation to the coils.
It's in relation to the coils, not just in relation to the other pickup.
I think so.
So
I don't actually know, but
so if you with Greenie,
because obviously it's to do with the direction of the winds on the.
Yes, on the magnetic field, with the magnetic field, right? So with Greenie, was that done to the pickup and then the pickup turned around the other way as well?
Yeah, a lot of people think that the pickup being turned around is what makes it the out of phase sound.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Makes no difference
No,
because the relationship. Well, it makes a minor difference because the slug and the screw coils are the other way around, but
right.
it's negligible, right? Because the relationship of the magnet polarity and the coil winds is the same, whether the pickup is that way up or that way up, it makes no difference.
Right.
What makes a difference is when you flip the magnet.
So in Greenie, the magnet's flipped and the pickup is turned around. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because by all accounts it was repaired.
Okay.
And it came back the wrong way. So Greenie wouldn't make any difference if you took that pickup and the pickup where the slug and screw coils are is an aesthetic thing,
Interesting.
predominantly.
Interesting.
Too.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's how it is, and what it means is, as Remy demonstrated. Now, if you turn one of these all the way down, you'll lose all the signal because it's in the middle position because it's 50s wiring. But if you have it up on 2, for example, and you've got this one on 10, you're getting predominantly fully neck pickup. And if you have this one on 10 and you have this one on 2, you're getting predominantly fully bridge
Yeah.
pickup.
Amazing.
And all of Remy's tones come from that blend. I love it. I love it. And it links directly with everything that Simon Jarrett was talking about in the last video where we had him on. So you're setting all your pedals, all your amps a bit more full out, and you're just having it all back off the guitar, which of course is how they all did it back in the day, and we all know that and we all love that. But it's brave to do it these days. I'm a fan. I want to experiment with it. Thank you, John. 3 more questions. Todd Weiss says, no question today. Use it on chat. Have a fantastic day, gents. Thank you, Todd. We have taken a few from the main chat tonight, so we'll consider that because we're just running out of time. But thank you, Todd. Liam Robbins says, any more thoughts on boosting compressors for drive tones? Thanks for the joy you bring, from Liam.
Bless you. Thank you, mate. Boosting compressors for drive tone. Well, if you're boosting the signal into a compressor, you are going to limit or compress harder. And it's whether or not you like the sound of that limiting. So one of the things about the 636 pedal from Soundgas, it's that actual bulb is part of the circuit, right? And when it pushes really hard, and that's what does the limiting and creates that amazing sound, and love that for overdrive. But it's a very unique sounding thing. It's why you have 1,200 different compressors on the market, because they all do a different thing, and feed forward compressors and feedback compressors, and all that. They all have their own way of compressing the sound, and some are going to add to the harmonic content when they start to limit and become crunchy. So that's and when you push that front end, that's when it can become really cool. Also, what can be really cool about a compressor is when the compressor acts as a boost and then boosts into another gain stage. It's all good. I love some of those tones.
We should include it in a. We should come up with a show that has that as one part of it, and other things that are unusual uses for pedals.
Completely.
Some people have suggested that.
Just remember this: distortion, overdrive, compression. It's all limiting. Signal goes in, signal clips. Signal is, it can't go any more than that. Compressor will bring it down. Distortion circuits, that clipping is part of the circuit. Overdrive, that where it clips, distorts in a different way. But it's all gain circuits. It's all hitting the rails and limiting.
Johnny T says, did you do it on purpose, Mick, or was it an accident? Very quick answer. Gibson stereo guitars, which that one was, so wired for stereo, came with the pickups opposing polarity, because out of the stereo guitar was designed to plug into Gibson's stereo amp. The 2 channels in Gibson's stereo amp were out of phase. So when you heard it in Gibson's stereo amp, the out of phase second channel, I have no idea why they did it like this, put the pickups back in phase. Go figure, right? So the idea was you'd have one channel for your bridge pickup, you'd have one channel for your neck pickup, and then when you went in the middle position, both channels would be on, but they'd be in phase because the guitar was out of phase, and so was the damn amp. And I have no idea why they did it like that, but there's obviously a reason, and somebody smart out there will know what the reason was. I de-stereoed it because it's a curio, right? It's a historical curio, and maybe somebody used it, but all the best sounds from those guitars come from mono.
Yeah.
No veritone in my personal opinion. But anyway, so that's why. But I kept the pickups out of polarity because you get that whole greeny thing, and I love some of the in-between sounds. Yeah, but mono, not stereo. Oh. And last in tonight, Thomas Edwards. Hi, Thomas, from Leipzig in Germany. Thomas says, thank you for being such an integral part of my guitar journey.
Oh,
Love
bless you,
your
mate.
content, lads. I've learned so much. And my question is about option paralysis and any tips on how you deal with it. Cheers from Leipzig, from Tom. So, option paralysis, if you've got lots of gear or you've got complicated gear, what you have is too many options and it can paralyze you. How do you get around it?
It's a great question, and one that we're probably going to look at it in a bit deeper, because it fundamentally affects your relationship with guitar. If the technology is getting in the way of you making music, you've got a problem. Some people, they find it, really inspiring to have 17,000 different possibilities, and they can get in there and use them all, and it's amazing. If that's not you, then maybe it's simplify. Maybe you going back to first principles is going to help. Grab your guitar, plug it into an amp, and have some fun, and then build things back up. And so part of the journey is going to be, from time to time, is to take a step back and go and reevaluate. You'll be doing that the whole time, not just about gear, but about the way that you play and about the guitar. Obviously the guitars that you have, but it's like, am I enjoying what I'm playing at the moment?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? Reevaluate. I think the option paralysis thing, for me personally, I found is more about the user interface than the actual gear. The user interface, if done properly, is a way in for exploration, and I love that. I love being able to sit down and tweak and find new sounds. The only way that's possible for me is if the user interface is done in a way that it is instinctive.
To you.
To me, exactly. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And there's some user interfaces that I get on with like no problem. But then some I find challenging.
You've got to go there to come back.
You do.
You have to have experienced the downside of option paralysis to know that you may want to simplify. And some people don't. They just want to keep going. And the great crime of modern marketing with gear is to sell you loads of features and benefits that you'll never use. And that is true across a whole range of, modelling gear, modern amps. They're like, well, you need these 15,000 features. And you're like, great. When I buy my thing, what is good is more features. And it's just not true. Because the vast majority of us will end up never using most of them. Now, as a tool to learning, I've got all this stuff and it's got all these options, and that may help me learn what I like and what works for me and what doesn't. That's great, and I think that works really well. But there does come a point, if you settle on the thing that you want to do and you are kind of committed to it, and your music doesn't require a million options, then you have the option to simplify. It's pretty brave when you do it. But I think we often talk about, great gear isn't necessarily, obviously it can make you sound better because it can be the best version of who you are. But what great gear does is get out of the way.
Yeah.
And it enables that best version of who you are to flow without having to fight through a load of option paralysis. So that's how I think about it. It's if you are aware, if you at least can bring awareness to the fact that option paralysis is happening, half the battle is won.
Nice.
You're halfway there.
Yep, that's really nice.
The problem comes when you can't see the wood for the trees, and you can't see the trees or the wood, and you can't see anything. That's the problem, when you don't even know what the problem is. So I think you're halfway there.
Yeah, there you go.
Good. All
Very
right,
nice.
everyone. thank you for being with us. Friday's show is 5 cool pedals. Some new stuff, some interesting stuff. I'm trying to remember what's on the board. The EF86 booster from Hageman and some other things. It was a couple of weeks ago. Dan, play us out. Thanks for being with us, everyone. We'll see you Friday and again on next Monday. And if any of you are coming to the Experience Day on Friday, can't wait to meet you.